Good morning. Today we will talk about obesity. Okay, at first let me introduce what is obesity itself. It is defined as an unhealthy excess of body fat which enhances the risk of morbidity and untimely mortality. So as you see, it is accompanied by burden of chronic diseases, metabolic complications, worsening quality of life. So more importantly, we can say that obesity exacerbates the age-related decline in physical function. So if we talk about the measurements of obesity, however, height may be reduced due to the degenerative bone disease and contributing errors to BMI, competition in the elderly. So as you can see, more than one-third of older adults aged 65 and over were obese in 2007 and 2010. And also you can see the higher percentages among those aged 65, 74 compared with those aged 75 and over in both men and women. So as you can see, by 2050, the number of US elder adults, the older adults, defined as persons aged 65 and over, is expected to more than double, rising from more than 40 million to 88.5 million people. Both aging and obesity contribute to increased healthcare service use. Consequently, an increase in the proportion of older adults who are obese may compound healthcare spending. So here you can see the table of obesity. In percentages, you can see the ages. So as you see, there are given ages, like the people who are at the age of 65 and over. So in the next columns, you can see the ages between 65, 74, and the last one is about 75 years and over. So as you can see, the high range can be shown, can be mentioned in this column at the ages of 65 and 74. So how do you think, is there any differences in the prevalence of obesity among older adults by race or ethnicity? So here you can see the prevalence of obesity among adults aged 65 and over, so by their sex, range, and ethnicity of United States. So as you can see, so as I mentioned, there are given two types, two genders, men and women. So you can see the differences. Okay, let's continue. So the question was, is there any differences in the prevalence of obesity among older adults by race and ethnicity? So here you can see the answer. There were no significant differences in obesity prevalence by race or between men and women. However, the prevalence of obesity differed by race and ethnicity among women. So the next question, is there any differences in the prevalence of obesity among older adults by educational attainment? Okay, you can see the table here. So again, the table is about the question, so we can return later. So here is the answer. There were no significant linear trends in the prevalence of obesity among men aged 65 to 74 by educational attainment. There was a linear trend among women aged 65-74, so there was a decrease in obesity prevalence with increasing education. Okay, let's turn to this table. Okay, so you can see it one more time. Okay, let's continue. So body composition and aging. After the age of 30 years, there is a progressive decrease in fat-free mass. It is called like abbreviation of FFM, such as muscles and bones, and in an increase in fat mass. Aging is also associated with the redistribution of body fat. Okay, here you can see the reduced production, causes of obesity. So how do you think? So what happens to energy intake in elderly? Okay, we will see it. So obesity results when like total energy intake, it is much more than energy output. What happens to energy intake in elderly? Energy intake neither changes nor declines with advancing age, hence the decrease in total energy output. It is the abbreviation of EO, as you can see here. It is an important contributor to obesity in elderly. So here you can see the causes of obesity in elderly. So energy output. So the first one is basal metabolic rate. It is 70%. Thermal effect of food 10%, and physical activity it is 20%. Okay, so here you can see like what happens to basal metabolic rate. So it decreases cause of like decrease in FFM. Okay, let's continue. So there are given like questions. What about the physical activity component? So actually the declines of physical activity with aging contributes to almost 50% of the reduction in EO that occurs with aging. So as you see, like the main reasons of obesity are the aging problems and also the difference between men and women. So in order to be like healthy, we should keep our body like healthy. We should keep on diets, like we should eat healthy food. I mean the nutritions. So that's why be healthy and don't be you. Good luck. Goodbye.